everyone. Welcome back to RTS and welcome back to Record December. Yes, that's what we are going to crack the whip and work on today. And it's going to be very simple and very quick because we already did a lot of prep work. So today is just the play. Yes, absolutely. So I have my photos here and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And so I am working a couple of days ahead of you. So I'll talk about that in just a minute because, you know, I have to film and then I have to also do exporting and then uploading. So I am working a few days ahead. But what I did was when I went to go print my photos is I simply printed, let's see, I have, it was 12 photos. So it was actually just 6 of these 4x6 format, but I printed 12 photos. Again, mine are all going to be in wallet. Now I have a couple here to my right that I won't be showing on film because, you know, it's personal information. And also too, I have, there's a couple photos I don't have permission to show. So I will probably just leave those blank, but I'll show you on my page where they will go. So let's crack the whip because today it's just about play and I will show you what we're going to do. So, of course, I am pulling out my kit right along with you gals, and I just put everything that I am playing with for my Record December in just one of these Dollar Tree storage bags. You know how I love them. So I'm just keeping them, everything contained. And then, see the seal on these puppies? Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, I think I was pulling harder than I should be. But I have everything in here that I need. Other than my paper pad, but I don't need that just yet. But hang on to that paper pad because we are going to dig back into that paper pad for something coming up. So yes, excited about that. So excited about that. Okay, so I'm going to put my tools here to the left. And I'm going to put, and I also threw in a couple photo corners, you know, in my black and my silver. And I have those alphas that I'm playing with. Haven't decided which one. And then here are some scraps. And then my lovely finished layouts. Yes. Can we just get excited? Yes, we can. Okay. Now I'm going to be working today along with you gals. And I'm only going to be working on my left side of my first 2-page spread. Okay, so I'm going to be working on this page right here. But I'm going to pull both of these because I like to get a visual when I'm working on a 2-page spread. But this second 2-page spread, we can put away. We won't need it on this video. No. Okay, so what I'm simply going to do is, and I won't get this all in frame, but that's okay because I will be coming back once I have some work done, okay? And these are just leftovers. I don't need those at all unless I want to punch something. Yes. Remember we had these leftovers? Okay, don't keep those too far. We might play with those. Okay, and here are my photos. And I know I'm going to grab a piece of wax paper. Now, why would I be grabbing a piece of wax paper? Well, because I'm absolutely going to figure out what I'm going to use for a title. And I don't think I'm going to do a title for both layouts. I may not. Depends on what tickles my fancy. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have my photos here. And again, I'm working on wallets. And then I do want to say something. If you need help printing on for your photos and in wallets, there is a lot of people that are very tech savvy and they will help you. So just list as to how you print your photos, where you print them, and if you need help, we will figure out what you need to do. You do not have to do it in wallets. It's just what I'm doing because I'm working on one page and I have 12 photos printed. So I always print a couple extra because I don't really know quite yet what I want to do. So it's better to have a couple extra than to be short. And so if you take certain photos with your iPhone and be prepared that they may come out in a square, not a wallet, when you go to print photos. See how this one is a true wallet size for me, but yet this one is just a square because on the iPhone sometimes it'll register as a square. In this case, that's what I selected. But sometimes your photos when taken with a smartphone will come out not the size you want. It's just the way the images is and that type of thing. Okay, so what do I have for my photos for Recording December? And again, I'm not going December 1, December 2, December 3. I'm just going to take 8 photos from this past week, and that's what I'm going to include. And I may only do 6, may only do 7. Who knows? Maybe I'll do 10. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I have some holiday decor. One from my little one. Yes, she was having a challenging day. And then I hung up my holiday wreaths on my window, so I snapped an inside photo this time. Usually I go outside and take a photo, but this time I took the image from the inside. Interesting. Focal point on that. I was excited to do it that way. And then also to the book I'm enjoying this month as a recommendation from one of my lovely subscribers, Sharon, and some cinnamon rolls I made one day, and then a couple things I have come, that we're working on the channel, and then all those bins and boxes that I brought up from the basement. Oh gosh, what a job. Okay, and then again, I have a couple here to my right that are personal photos, but when I'm planning my page, I'm going to keep them in mind. I'll just keep them blank. Okay, so my wax paper for my title. Here are my alphas, and I know it won't be this. It'll be one of these, okay? And I will pick this after I get my photos figured out, and I'll say, which one do I like? Which one do I not like? I may go with the glitter, but since I have such red here, I may play off of the deer, and I may pick the black, or I may pick December, or may pick the silver, or I may pick a variety. Yes, who knows? We're going to have fun. Okay, now what I did for my mats, and I'll move this wax paper. Okay, so I had showed in the class that for this 2-page, we're just going to be working on this one. And then I had showed that I am going to absolutely be working with photo mats only because of my paper is so busy. I wanted a mat for my photo to stand out, because when I'm doing something like this, it is all about the photos and the story. The supplies are secondary for me. So I went and I took my embossing folder, which was this beautiful Holly Jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. No, sorry, didn't mean to break out in song there. No, it is this holly and floral leaves, stems, and so that's what I did. I took a bunch of scraps from my scrap folder in white, and I took a 2.5 by 3.5 piece of paper, and I ran each one of those through my embossing folder. I just did it 2 at a time, very, very quick, but I have the whole 30, 32, I think there's something like that, and I will use that for my matting of my photos, because I'll show you why. Okay, so here's a photo. There's nothing wrong with that, looks good, but wait till you see how it pops when I put it on one of these mats. Okay, so that is my plan. Okay, so I went ahead and did that all at one time. Yes, instead of just doing 1 week at a time, I did 4 weeks at a time. So I did enough for all 32 days, or 31 days, or 32 photos, whatever you want to do for the month. Okay, so how I will get started is that this is my basic supplies. I will get my trimmer, and I will take my photos. And again, I'm working on wallets. That doesn't mean you have to. And I will cut these all in half. And the reason I do that is because then it'll help me get a visual as to the orientation and also the subject matter of my photo. Because even though I printed 12, I won't be using all 12. And I have options, but I have to pick which ones I want before I start doing anything. Because I don't want to take all 12 of these and mat each one of these on one of my embossed photo mats, and then I don't end up using it. No. So I need to figure out my photo placement first. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Now, also keep in mind, I have, how many do I have here to the side? I have 3 to the side. Okay? And again, they're personal photos and I can't show, but I do believe I will be showing at least one of those. Okay? And they are... one's in a horizontal, 2's a vertical. Okay, so you can see that, and what I do is I will put all of my photos that's in a vertical, vertical, vertical. This is vertical. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? All vertical, and I will have 2 horizontal. So there we go. That's kind of how I figured it would go for me, only because I know how I take my photos. I mainly snap in vertical, but I did leave room for 2 horizontal in my basic plan. And that's exactly what I'm going to come up with. So my plan will probably be, okay, is that I will probably do this, and I'm hoping you can see all that. Let me just cover up that second one, okay? Is that I will do this. Now, this embossed image on my mats, I am not paying any concern as to how that lands on my page. That is just not something I am going to worry about, because it's just for decorative purposes, Okay, look at that. Is that not pretty? Yes, feast your eyes on this. And all this is paper. And of course, with some embossing. Okay, and this is probably how I'm going to do that. Okay, now I don't have to do, I absolutely could do 7. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. And I may put my title up here and then do some embellishing here. I think I will do 7 instead of 8. But I definitely could do that too. It will probably determine if there's something on here that I feel like I need to get, okay? And so then what I will do is I will be cutting each one of these down to 2.5 by 3.5, other than these square, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. And then what I do is I cut my wallets down to the same size as this mat, and then I will cut a sliver on whatever side I can cut a sliver on, if that makes sense, okay? And so I'll just show that. Why not? We don't have to be in a hurry. Okay, so the one I know for sure is this book that Sharon recommended. It is called Unwrapping the Names of Jesus, and I highly, highly recommend that book. I will have the link below. I snagged it on Amazon. Very, very, wow, really changing my mindset for this holiday season. So I will cut this down to 2.5 by 3.5 because that is the size of my embossed mats. I mean, just look at those. I'm just going to let those lay there. Aren't those beautiful? Yes, they are. They are so beautiful. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that down to 2.5 by 3.5. And let's see what we got here. So, here's my wallet. I cut down to 2.5 by 3.5, which is the exact same size of my mat. See, you can't see my mat. So I do that first, and then I say, okay, where can I cut a sliver off, okay? I can cut a sliver off here and a sliver off down here, okay? And that's exactly what I do. And I just cut. It's probably not even an eighth, well, it may be an eighth of an inch. It's just a sliver. And I cut that off of both, okay? And I'll show you that in a minute, okay? And so this will be what it looks like. And I probably need just a tad more. So it'll probably end up being less than 1/4 of an inch on both. Okay. Now, some people would say, well, why use a mat that's so embossed when you're not going to see all of it? It's purely for texture. You may not see that, excuse me, show up on the camera, but in person, I can definitely see that there's texture. And I don't even know that it's holly and leaves and stems and things like that. It doesn't matter. Okay. Is purely for texture because I knew on this page, I'm going to have a crafty lunch, I guarantee you. I knew on this page that I was going to have a lot of paper and I simply wanted some texture, okay? Very, very pretty. Now, if you wanted to see more of your embossed mat, if you wanted to do something like that, you would absolutely want to cut down your photos more, okay? I could cut down another 1/4 of an inch on both sides and I still would say I know what that image is, okay? But I'm not doing it to see this. I just want the texture of that embossing, okay? Now, what I also could do is that I could leave room for 8 photos here, okay? And then I would leave one of these embossed pieces plain, just like that, and use that as a decoration. I definitely could do that. Maybe I'll think about that. What do you think? I could definitely come over here and put the title right here, whatever your title is. I think for me, my title is going to say, Recording December. I think that's exactly what I'm going to call it. Yes, I think that's what I'm going to call it. And I will use one of my thickers, and then I'll probably use that other alpha. This one here that I pulled. I think that's probably what I'll do. Recording December. Okay. Now you'll notice I have white and ivory all on one page. No worries, no concern. I gave that up a long time ago. Yes, I gave that up. And so what you could do is if you want to do 7 photos, and you want to do your journaling on this page, maybe you're going to do corresponding numbers, you could absolutely do an embossed block of paper and put your journaling on that block. Not write on that. You'd have to put it on something because you can't write on embossed images. But you absolutely could do that. That would be very pretty. Or I could come up here. You know, I'm always showing options. Is that I could emboss. I could leave this out. I could emboss another piece. And I absolutely could put my title on top of that embossed piece. Or I could put my title right on top of there. I like that because I really want to show, I want some of those deer just to show. I may do that. I may put record December right over there. Okay, so that is my plan. I will come back, and where will my embellishments be? It will be how my title lands, and I will work on one cluster, and that's all I'm simply going to do. I'm going to cut down my photos, adhere to my mats, and then work on my title and my one cluster, because I'm doing a spread. So I can do one cluster here. I'm going to do one cluster on the next page next week, and then I may add a little sprinkling of something when that page is done. But for this week, all we're simply going to do is work on this one. I told you it was going to be simple and quick. Absolutely. I probably spent more time talking than it will take for me to do this. So I will pop back in just a little bit, and we'll see my progress. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so I thought I would pop back in for a couple minutes and show you my middle process. And honestly, it hasn't taken me just but a few minutes. But I didn't want to leave the camera running the whole time. And so what I did was I absolutely selected the photos I wanted, where I'm going to put them, what made the cut, what didn't make the cut, where my title is going to be, and where my embellishment cluster is going to be. And that is all this page consists of. That's it for this week. I mean, very, very simple. The fun part is picking out which photos you want to use. Okay, now here I ended up going with 7 photos because I wanted a nice cluster here. Okay, so that's why I say you can switch this up, and you could only do 3 4x6 photos. You could do 3 4x4s. You could do 10 wallets. It's totally whatever you want to record your December, not what everybody else is doing. What your December is. You may have had such a busy week, you want 10 photos, or you didn't have quite a busy week, and you're only going to have a couple. No worries. You can absolutely change it up next week, and I'll show you more about that. Okay, so what did not make the cut? What did not make the cut, and how do I decide that? I have a couple of scrappy book related photos, and if I have to cut something from my spread, it's always scrapbooking related photos, because I will get them in another layout somewhere. And then also too, I have one of my little ones. Well, why did that not make the cut? Because I already have her here in this photo, which you don't see. It's her and her roommates. And you want to know something great about that photo? When she sent it to me, would you believe they're wearing red and black? I mean, honestly, all 3 of those girls were wearing red and black. I was just like, oh, can you imagine how perfect? Not that I go by color. I do not go by color. It's just that it's the holiday season, and everything kind of all pairs very well together. Okay, and then also too, I have one I can't show. It's a Christmas gift that I got for someone. I was doing some online shopping, and so it didn't make the cut because it may make it the cut that in another week, you know, when I actually give the gift. Maybe I'll use that photo. Okay, so that's why I did not choose, and how I decided, you know, how do I do that process. And then with the ones I selected, they are not in order at all. And so when I'm doing a spread like this, what I do is distribution of color. What does that mean? I try not to put people. I divvy up my people. That is my main objective. I only have one people photo. And then I take a lot of food photos, home decor, this type of year. And so I alternate. So if you see, I have my distribution of red. Well, it's in every photo. But it looks good in the visual triangle that I have, but that's what I wanted to say. Rather than if I would put my lovely cinnamon rolls here, and I would just swap this photo here. And does this make a difference? No, it does not. It's just something, a little detail. And so you can see that this distribution of red is missing over here in the photos, not the actual layout, the photos. So I am just swapping this for like that. Okay, so but if this was a people photo and this was a people photo, I would swap them so every other one would be people, every other one would be food, and then I pay attention to the distribution of color. And in this page, it's definitely the red and the white. Yes, absolutely. So that is my photos. I will just take my ATG gun and I would adhere those down, and then they will go on top of my page, and I'll come back with that. So in my title, what did I decide on? One basic word: December. Yes, I wanted to do recording December, but I'm going to show how I'm recording December in and of itself. Anyways, I don't need to have the word recording. Okay, so I just went with December. Now you'd say, well, where is your year? I'm going to get that on the next page, so don't worry. I'm just using my simple, and I used my silver thicker font, and I spelled out December. But of course, you know, December, it takes 3 E's right off the bat, but we're used to that. And I am absolutely going to anchor my title, December, up here right on this border strip, because I have Holly Jolly, Oh Christmas Tree, and Deck the Halls, and that will be like a lead-in, a subtitle, and so my December is going to connect with those. And then I'm going to be able to see some of my deer that I wanted on my paper. Not that that's a big deal, but I wanted. And then I'm playing now with my cluster. Okay, so I definitely will be playing with my dies, and I know that I probably will have my one image going this way, and then I'll just be using the outside wreath of this image. I won't be using the inside, and so I just kind of tucked them that way to give me a visual. And then I did a couple punches here because I'm definitely going to play with that sprig. And then also too, don't forget that we pulled, if you chose to, we pulled these cut aparts. So I definitely can take that punch and that die, and I can play around with these cut aparts, or maybe I want some subtitles or little embellishments, or I can fussy cut something, whatever we decide to do. Yes, absolutely. And then don't forget, simply, we have the rest of our paper pad to absolutely use whatever way we want to. Okay, so don't forget we have that option too. So that is probably what I will do, but I will not be spending a lot of time with that because I just have these. And then also to remember, I have my two color bins that I will be playing with as far as embellishments, but I'm not going to need a lot because I'm only going to be doing one cluster, that type of thing. But it sure will be fun playing because the snow is blowing, and you know, I'm going to make a cup of hot tea and just sit here and play and have fun. But that is where my dies are going to land. That is where my punch came into play, and then of course I will use my embossing folder. So I will come back and we will talk about the finished page. Okay, honestly, not going to take long. Now, I did want to say one more thing. If you are planning on journaling on this page, you may want to take away this main embellishment cluster that I have, and that's where you could put some journaling, or you could shift your photos around. Okay, don't be afraid to play with your photos. Look how nice this is by simply shifting these photos, and you could put your journaling for this page right up here if you wanted to. It's all what you want to do, okay? Or you can absolutely move a photo up there and then put your journaling in whatever way you want to. Or for me, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to journal on this page, and I'm not going to journal on the next page. I will show you at the end where I'm putting my journaling. That's why I suggested keeping a running list of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you are simply keeping your photos in order and you're putting a little number, then if you want to journal, make sure you correspond number 1, number 2, number 3, that type of thing, if you are doing the actual daily recording of events. Okay. Now let me put this back because that is how my page is going to be. Very, very simple. Very, very fun. And it's all about recording December. Yes. And I'm definitely going to layer and cluster these and sprinkle them around. Love, excuse me. I love this Martha Stewart punch. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I will be back with a finished page, and I hope you will be too. I'm so excited that we're all playing along and recording our month. Absolutely. Okay, I will be back with a finished page, and so get cracking. I want to see yours too. Okay, hang on. Okay, I am back with the finished page, and voila, 1 week of our recording December is done, and done. Yes, now of course my journaling is not done, but I will talk about that in the upcoming weeks. Okay, so what did I simply do? I adhered my simple title of December. It could be anything you wanted. I just went with December because this is going to be a 4-page spread. Okay, and so that acts as my title. Okay, and then I just anchored it on my border strip here because these words acted as a lead-in subtitle for that. And then also too, I adhered my photos to my mats. I adhered my mats to my background paper, and then honestly, I worked on my cluster. Simple, simple, simple. So what did I did? What did I did? What did I do? What am I going to do? Okay, let's talk about, what do we want to talk about? Well, first of all, one, I adhered my photos to my mats, and they were done. Then I took my quick dry and I adhered the corners, because if I do the bend test, you're going to see that everything is adhered very, very well, very, very secure, because I'm done with this page, okay? Except for one thing right here, because I am going to absolutely be replacing this after I'm done filming at the end of this series. So this is not adhered tightly because I will be putting a photo there. But everything else, snug as a bug in a rug, because I like things secure. So don't forget to, if you have any corners popping up, see right here, I purposely left that to show you. This is what I mean when I do the bend test. And so when something bends up like that, I simply take my quick dry, tacky, this is what it looks like now, okay? Scotch Create Tacky, absolutely a wonderful liquid adhesive. And it's called a tacky, but it's still the quick dry formula, so don't worry about that. And that's why I like it, because it dries quick. Okay, and so then that's it for my photos. Very, very simple. And then here's my titles again, my thickers again, using my quick dry. And then I worked on my cluster. Okay, so what did I do for my cluster? Well, I wanted to play with my dies in this series, and so that's what I did. I broke out this die and this die and this punch, yes. And so then guess what else I broke out? Some stickles. Yes, how many of us have stickles? Okay, so I'll talk about that. So what I did was, because remember when I put my little kit together using my paper pad was my kit. I just simply pulled tools to go with that paper pad. And so I have no packaged embellishments, nothing like that. So I used one of my cut apart sheets, and for the deer here, you can see that I absolutely used this cut apart right here, and I took my deer out of that. And then it gave me a little bit of an image for a Christmas tree. So I used this craft cut apart for my tree. And then I absolutely layered this craft tree over this black tree, and it gave me a little bit of a shadow, and you'll see that in the close-ups. And then I absolutely then took my additional die and I ran it through this cut apart. And so I didn't use the deer. Here's what I have left over. Okay, I didn't use that part. I just wanted the wreath, and that is how I built my clusters. Very, very simple, using 3 cut aparts. So there is where my embellishments came. It came from my paper pad and tools that sometimes we forget to pull out. Okay, you don't have to buy anything, use your paper pad. And then of course I used my Martha Stewart punch here, and then I just punched a bunch of these little white sprigs. Okay, and so then I just layered all of that, and I have these left over. I will put them with my scraps, and I will also keep these here, because I still, if I need to, if I want this color, I can still use some punches. I'm not going to throw them away just yet, okay? And so, of course, I will keep that with my scraps. And then this was also an additional piece that got cut out because I only used one part of that tree, and I will keep these because right there are some more embellishments. I may use those on the next page, because as you see with the papers I chose, I have a theme going on of deer and you know, some Christmas holly leaves and branches and things like that. Okay, so then what I simply did was I took this deer and I layered that craft Christmas tree on top of the other tree, and then I adhered some of those sprigs, and then I just put it over top of this wreath, just give me an embellishment, and then also too to leave some room because I wanted to see this red background paper. And then with my sprigs, I absolutely put them this way, and then I laid them this way so your eye would lead into the photos, and that's how I did that. I added a few pearls here, and my pearls are here. Where are they? My pearls are right here. Okay, they're just silver pearls. Now, if you don't want to use pearls, because I got this question recently, as if you have, you know, enamel dots fit on everything, but what if you have pearls and gemstones and rhinestones? What do you put them on? Christmas and holiday pages are the absolute best way, because here are some glitter enamel dots, and here are some rhinestones, gems, that type of thing. So this is the type of holiday page to break those out. It doesn't matter if you're boys and girls or whatever. You don't have to worry about that, because some people consider these pearls and gems and rhinestones as a girl thing. No, when it comes to holiday, it's all bling and zing. So don't be afraid to pull them out and play with them. And so I took the pearls and I did 3 in a triangle, visual triangle here. And these glitter enamel dots are so pretty. But I wanted something a little bit more shiny, okay? And so I just put them in a visual triangle here. And then up here in my border strip where I have some poinsettias, I just put some pearls in those 3 centers of those poinsettias. And then down here, I took another of my cut aparts, and it was this sheet right here. And I want to show this because I know some people are using the exact same paper pad that I am. How fun is that? And then remember I had said that that word Merry Christmas stuck out at me. So I absolutely, and I think I have that piece left over somewhere in my, I have such a mess. A glorious, crafty, creative mess. Loving it. Anyways, it said Merry Christmas this year. I cut out the word Merry Christmas. Now, see, that will bug me. I have to find it. So, hang on a minute. There it is. Okay. And this is what it said. It said Merry Christmas this year in that cut apart. And I just put this year. And I cut it out and I put 2 pearls. And so that is my page. Okay. Absolutely done with that. Very, very quick. Okay. So now if I have, if you have leftover photos when you're doing this, well, first of all, if you have left over anything, keep them, put them in your scraps, and we'll play with them next week when we go to page 2 of this spread, okay? Because I'm keeping all of these. Even the ones I've already used for dies, I'm keeping that. You can definitely get some punching in there, okay? Remember I said we were going to use these cut aparts for embellishments, and bing, bang, boom, there we did. Okay, now for the stickles, I better talk about that before I talk about photos. The stickles I used was frosted lace, and I wanted to show that, and I'll definitely take a close-up. Is that for, you know, when you're putting stickles or anything like that on a tree, you want to make sure you be a little more hot and heavy on the branches with your product, because mostly that is where the snow would be piled up, would be on the branches. So I did it a little bit more, and you might have to do more than one application. And so and then in the tree, to give it some movement, I took my stickles and I went like this, and I made sure not the whole thing was covered. Okay, I just did some dot, 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 dot in all the branches a few times, and then I just took my nozzle tip and I just spread it like that, just to give movement on the tree. I know it's just a little detail, but that is actually how you see it in real life, okay? So I didn't cover the whole tree. I wanted to see a little bit of that craft. And again, that was frosted lace by Stickles. How fun to pull out a product we've had, and we've had, and we've had. Love these things. And I was absolutely going to use my Wink of Stella pen originally, but I like these, but it just doesn't give enough oomph, I think, for these Wink of Stellas. I don't know if I'd buy another one. I don't know. It's okay. Jury's still out on that one. Okay, so I have some leftover photos. So what will I do? I'm absolutely going to keep them. I'm going to put them in a little envelope and put them right in with my scraps, and I'm going to title it Leftovers, because I may end up using this on the next page. I may end up using it on the 3rd page. It doesn't matter, because mine are not in order, okay? But if yours is in order and you have leftover photos, I still encourage you to keep them, because you can use them later on down the road for another story. So keep your leftover photos. Okay, now I'm looking at my notes here. And also I will have additional photo ideas for this week coming up. See the list below. And then I'll also copy and paste the previous week's list, so you'll have that all in one little comment section if you want to see that. Okay, and so don't forget to pull out some pearls, some rhinestones, some gems, get the bling and zing, have fun. And then also too, I wanted to mention that you can absolutely use a T-square to get these in a linear fashion, or eyeball it, which is what I did. Because I noticed sometimes with my T-square, once you start to get some lump and bump, it still gives you a little bit, it's not exact. So if anybody is looking at your pages and saying, you know, I think that's a little crooked. You know what? Those people shouldn't be looking at your albums anyways. They shouldn't even be in your home. That's the way I look at it. If anybody is that critical, I don't want them around me anyways. I'm just going to say that, okay? But if you wanted to make sure everything was linear, don't forget to break out your T-square or any type of ruler, and that will help you. But I simply eyeballed them. Yes, that's what I did, okay? And then I used foam tape on this deer and the tree, because I wanted it popped up a little bit. So not only do I have texture as far as the stickles, and I have texture as far as the embossing, I also have dimension because I used foam tape. And of course the pearls, it all adds in, and it just does not look like, in my opinion, that this simply came from a paper pad. No, and absolutely a paper pad that I paid $4.80 for. Oh, you see why I love paper pads? Yes, there's a lot you can do with it. Because these embellishments, I showed this to my husband this morning before he went to work, and he said, oh, well, where did you buy them? I said, oh, no, I made them. He goes, huh? And he was like, how did you do that? You know? And yeah, honestly, we make these things, ladies. Absolutely. That's what we do. We get these tools and we have fun. Okay. I think that was it, other than one more thing. I got asked what type of printer do I use to print my photos, and I use an Epson PictureMate Charm. It's the model P as in PictureMate 225. Absolutely love Epson PictureMate. Now, I have been using Epson PictureMate for years and years and years. I think I'm on my fifth one or sixth one. It's not because they're a bad machine, it's just because I use them and they only have a certain amount of printing life. Okay, that's it. Once they get to a certain generated sort of number in their system, once they like, it has an internal brain, and once it prints so many photos, then it's just done. Okay, and I have ran those puppies until they just croak. That's what I do. And so they do now have an Epson PictureMate that prints in a 5x7. It's not on my wish list. I've been looking at it, but I think since we take photos with mainly our smartphones, I do not think I would have to see it first. I don't know if these images in a 5x7 would look as clear. I'm not sure. It might depend on what type of smartphone. So I'm not jumping on the bandwagon yet about a 5x7. But my Epson PictureMate Charm, yes, I always have one in reserve. Yes, absolutely. And so, Christmas is coming. Don't forget to put that in your Amazon wish list. Someone may see that. Yes. And then absolutely, Tammy said she had just got one. She got it early for Christmas. You go, Tammy. Yes, you go, Tammy's husband. Absolutely. I love that. Very, very great quality printing. And so that is why I'm having problems with an online printer. Because with my Disney trips and some other trips, I take so many photos. And so I've been trying to find an online processor for my bigger trips, and I can't find anything that is suitable for me because I'm so used to the quality of Epson printing. Yes, the ink is bar none the best. Okay, and one other thing. If you want to share on Instagram, the hashtags will be below. It is #PaperPadParty. Absolutely. Yes, where's my paper pad? Yes, #PaperPadParty. I use North Pole Gazette. And then a couple people were saying, also, let me talk about this just a minute. The other hashtag is #RTS Scrapbooking. They will be listed below if you want to use them. Hop in, and I know some of you gals are social media bugs. Hop over, give some love, and show some love to those people. Okay, so now I'm using North Pole Gazette, and so some people had said they were using another Michaels pad, and it's called the same thing. And yes, Michaels came out last year with the same version of this. And I think they were absolutely called North Pole. I don't know if it was North Pole Gazette last year, but that's what it's called this year. But it's basically the same color scheme. Absolutely. So look at what you already have before you go buy anything. Okay. And I think that's all I have for today. Other than come back next week. We will be doing on page 2. We will absolutely be working on the companion layout. Right here, we'll be working on this. Okay, so excited how it's going to turn out. Again, it's going to be very, very simple because we're going to focus on the photos and the story about recording December. Yes, and there will be some close-ups following this video, so stick around for that. And if you have any questions, list below. If you need any help, just ask. That's what we're here for, just to create, learn, share, have fun together. Okay, that's all I have for today. Come back next week. We'll finish up with this 2-page spread and have some more fun. And that's all I have for today. Yes, come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.